Happened for me. I got interviewed today on a podcast, and interview the interviewer who interviewed me for this coaching podcast was asking me about kind of what got me into coaching. What was it that triggered me to get into coaching, to training, consulting? And I was explaining that one of the most impactful things for me, that the turning fork in the road, that moment, was coming to the realization that people can really genuinely fix their lives, fix their career, fix their work, fix their health, if they invest time in themselves and they invest time in somebody to help them. And I realized that helping people to do that in their lives is, for me, more valuable than saving a bank $8 million on a project. And I've done that, and I've had the opportunity and the privilege of working in financial organizations and doing different kinds of roles, from technology to business transformation, where I was able to do that. But it didn't really it made a difference on the bottom line, but it didn't make a difference here in people's hearts. You know what I mean? And I think I came to realize that the way I was touched in my life by people who made a profound impact on the choice, the direction. I mean, my family members, they've been amazing. My cousins, my uncles, my aunts, they've had a profoundly positive effect on my life. And I was benefited by the kindness of people as well. And what that did is it made me realize that if people invest in people, if we invest in others, then we can help them to be successful in their lives by equipping them with stuff that they may have forgotten about, but that's actually deep inside. And they may just need a little bit of hand, a little bit of coaching or mentoring to help them to get to where they want to be. And so it was a big realization for me, experiencing that, being at the receiving end. And I just felt that it's so important to give that back. So for those of you who know me, you'll know that I've been doing it on the side through Mantra Therapy, the project that I started in 2010. But the journey actually started 10 years before that, back in the mid-90s, actually. Showing my age, right? In the mid-90s, where we were doing these National Council of Indian Association sports festivals across the country here in the UK. And we were having the opportunity to go and meet students and speak to them about what they want to do with their lives, and getting them to think more than just hanging out in the student unions and drinking and, partying all day. And in those days, it was quite powerful to be able to get into that, And so since the 90s, I started getting into it, and I had the privilege of being around monks and people from the monk order who were kind enough to show me some things that helped me to reflect on my own life and the losses I had, the difficulties I had experienced, losing my mum when I was young, working out of debt, having multiple jobs, looking at poverty. And it took a long time, many years, to shake that poverty mindset off. But I realized that I couldn't have done that by myself. I needed a coach. I needed somebody there. So my realization today in this interview that I did is that I think everybody needs a coach or a mentor. Everybody needs somebody who can help them to tap into their own power. And that's what I'm passionate about. That's what I'm proud of doing, to be able to help people to tap into their power. And so today I want to just share a little bit of music. And if you know how I roll, I go freestyle. I got my piano right here. You can't see it, but I have a piano just here and a microphone. So I'm just going to play whatever comes, whatever I feel intuitively to do. But I want to share really quickly, because this is just a glimpse, 3 principles of spirituality for success in our work and personal life. So these 3 tips, spiritual tips, for cultivating success in our personal and work life, I'd like to share. Number 1 is with the letter I. It's introspection. It's going inside. Right now, we're so eager to get outside, right? Because we've been stuck inside in the house or in our apartment. But actually, being inside in our house or apartment is not the same as going inside here and here. And this is where the hard work is, because people don't want to go in here. They want to be distracted. We're by nature, we're distracted by work, by family, by friends, by the TV, by social media. So it's very easy to not want to go inside because it's difficult. to sit still with yourself for 20 minutes and ask yourself, who am I? Why have I suffered? What is my purpose in life? What can I do to make my life better? Those are hard questions. Sometimes they're very uncomfortable because the answers that lie underneath are not very nice answers. But that's the inner work that we do, right? So the first tip for spiritual success in work and life is to take time every week, maybe 30 minutes in 10-minute blocks, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes a week, just to go inside here and ask meaningful questions. See, it's more important to ask quality questions than it is to find the answers. The better the quality of question, the more likely we're going to find a good answer. Does that make sense? So, number one, go inside and ask meaningful questions. Sit with yourself. Don't try and answer them. Just sit and see. Just observe what answer shows up for you through your subconscious. Yeah? Okay. Spiritual tip number 2 for success is letter D for detachment. So here's the thing. We're all naturally attached to our friends, our family, our loved ones, our belongings, our possession, our jobs, our careers. I'm no different. I mean, we're all attached in some way. But in spirituality, we learn that we can do with very little and still be happy. And this is a message that's taught in all scriptures, from the Bhagavad Gita, the oldest scriptures, through to the Bible, through the Quran. They all teach the importance, the value of a healthy level of detachment. So the second principle is to learn to be a little detached from the stuff that we hold very dear. Now, that doesn't mean we have to be uncaring or unkind to our family members or friends. Nobody's saying that. It just means that we keep a certain level of detachment from our expectations. Does that make sense? So the less expectations we have on the people around us, the more we rely on ourselves, and the less attachment we have to the things that we claim to be our own, the things that we possess, that we covet. If we can do away without the TV for a day, if we can do away without the phone for a few hours, if we can do away without that car and just walk, whatever it is, if we just inject those little micro behaviors to learn to detach from us, those things, then we start to build our detachment muscle. Why do we want to build detachment muscle? Because we got to leave it all behind when we go. Nobody takes this stuff away. We all have to leave this behind, right? So to learn that detachment muscle here, that doesn't mean that we don't enjoy the stuff that we got. Nobody's saying we don't enjoy it, but we want to be in a state where even if we didn't have it, we're still content. Do you see the difference? It's not about renouncing artificially. It's about having, but not needing. So that's principle number 2. And spiritual principle number 3 for success in work and personal life is the letter S. S is for surrender. What do I mean by surrender? In this day and age, to surrender to anything or anyone, it's considered a sign of weakness, a sign of defeat. But in the spiritual sense, when we surrender, what we're doing is we're learning to trust. We're learning to rely on our intuition. We're learning to rely on our sixth sense or our higher self. We're learning to rely on that part of us, that inner knowing. But if we don't acknowledge that that inner knowing exists, then we can't learn to surrender. And the power that people like Einstein, Thoreau, Oppenheimer, Newton, Nikola Tesla, all of these great scientists and scholars knew and spoke about the power of our intuition over our intellect. And they knew that when we tap into this, we're tapping into something a lot higher. And so that surrender is almost a surrender to a knowing, an inner knowing, that we will be able to guide ourselves through, our inner compass, and whoever is guiding us, if you believe in it, outside us, that those guides combined with our inner self will be able to guide us where we got to go. So it's about learning to surrender. We want to control. In this modern day and age, I'm no different. I've wanted to control all my life, control my work, my outcome, my objectives. I was into project management. I was into control. But there has to be a balance where you learn to let go and you learn to surrender and trust that where you need to be, the present will lead you there if your intention and your attention is going inside. Does that make sense? So learning to surrender bit by bit. It could be that, at the dinner table, you don't worry about what lands on your dinner table. Just eat what you've given, what you've been given by your family member, right? It could be as simple as, okay, you can't do certain things at work, so you just surrender and say, okay, that's fine. I'll work with what I got. Practice your surrenderability in micro habit ways. I'm a big fan in coaching. In my coaching, I always engage my clients with micro habits. So just practice your surrenderability through micro habits in your day, and notice how your intuition and your inner guide starts to show up and guide you. That's the experience I've had. I'm definitely no means there, right? I'm not up there. I'm just sharing what I have with you in the hope that it can help you in your life, because it's helped me and it's helped the people that I've worked with and the people that I've been around. And so I know it will help you if you just apply it in these small and practical ways. And let's face it, that's what urban spirituality is all about. It's bringing spirituality together with practicality. So enough said. I'm going to just riff for just a couple of minutes because I want to. You may or may not like it. I'm just making stuff up, and you just enjoy or switch off whenever you're ready.
There comes a time in your life that you gotta look inside to find the answers. You've been looking outside for so long. You gotta go deep inside. Do that hard work to find the answers inside. But you gotta ask better questions, yes you do. Then you gotta learn. You come into this world with empty hands, and you leave with empty hands again. So why are you so attached to the things you got in your life? You gotta give them up. You gotta learn to be free. Practice a little detachment, yeah. Don't let those things own you. You gotta enjoy what you got, but don't be owned by them. No, 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 no. Practice detachment. And number 3 is all about surrenderability. You gotta learn to trust your inner self. Let your inner compass guide you home.
And it will.
If you trust it, if you trust it, if you trust it, if you trust it, you'll feel the magic, you'll feel the magic, you'll feel the magic. Trust, and you trust, and you will find your way home. Yeah, yeah, gotta trust and surrender, trust and surrender, trust and surrender. Gotta trust, gotta trust, gotta trust and surrender. Let your inner guide and your inner intuition guide you, yeah. You gotta try, yeah.
Peace, power,